Hello there. So my name is Lisa Coburn, and I hope you guys are enjoying this party as much as I am. Uh, I'm gonna I'm gonna kind of wait and see if anyone's gonna jump on here live. But first, I'll say hi to you guys who are watching the replay. Thank you so much for being part of this party and for watching this video. I wanted to do something a little bit different. And so I hope that some of you are going to get some value from what I'm going to talk about today. But the first thing I actually did want to ask you guys is can you put, if you are watching, can you put in the comments something that has made you smile today, or if you haven't smiled at all today, like in the last couple of days? All right. But just like a moment, something that made you smile. I would love to hear. So, so my name's Lisa, and I've been a distributor with SeneGence since January of 2018. So I was 6 months into my mat leave with my baby. His name is Dax. He's now 2, just over 2. And that makes sense. Like for a second, I was like, that math doesn't add up. But yes, it does, Lisa. It adds up. Okay, so and I actually have taken a bit of an unconventional path with this because my big reason for joining was actually because I didn't have a job to go back to after my mat leave was going to be up, and I desperately didn't want to have to put Dax into full-time daycare just so that I could go to some terrible temping admin job that I didn't even want to be at. So I actually do this, and I do one other thing, but I would say that this is actually like, and has kind of, ever since I started doing it, has been the focus of most of my my sort of work activity. So anyway, that's probably enough about me, and I'll get into the content for today. So you guys have been hearing lots about our products, and our products are amazing. And you've heard a bit about the company, and the company is amazing. But I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my personal story, because I know that I'm not the only one who has found this, and so I think it's worth sharing. Because really, and I'm not lying to you when I say I was not wearing makeup before I joined this company. Like in the few years leading up to that, I had maybe bought like a couple of lip glosses here and there. Maybe I would occasionally, I had probably bought like a lipstick, and I would sometimes wear lipstick. Like this was when I was going to my job. So I was going to a job downtown Toronto wearing like no makeup, like wearing maybe lipstick, but I wouldn't even bring it to work. And so by like 10 o'clock, it would be gone, and that would be that. I wasn't wearing mascara regularly unless I was like going out for something, which wasn't that often. Anyway. So, because I know a lot of the time people are like, oh, I'm not a makeup person. A lot of us weren't makeup people. I'm just saying, you would not be the first not a very makeup person to fall in love with what we do. And the reason that I've fallen in love with it a lot, like I would say that it really is like the things that it has done for my insides rather than my outsides. So the first thing that like many of us, the first product I ever tried was Lipsense, and that was what kind of got me really interested, because it was a lipstick that I could put on and not have to reapply. And so I discovered Lipsense like right when I was super pregnant. A friend of mine introduced me to it, and I did really love it. And I got a few colors, as many as I could justify, since I was like at that point on mat leave. But what I really found, and this definitely because I was taking care of a newborn, so I had no time to put any effort into my appearance. I basically was like covered in baby puke and whatever all the time. But if I could find like a couple of minutes at some point in the day to put on some Lipsense, then like 8 hours later, the next time I actually had a chance to take a glance in the mirror, I would be like, oh, look at me. And it would like just sort of helped me to feel more like a human. Um, and then once I discovered the color correcting tinted moisturizer, just those two things, like putting like uh, slathering this on my face, you don't even have to look in the mirror necessarily. You just need to make sure you kind of rub it into all the parts, and putting on some Lipsense. And you could even do those in different orders, which was a huge thing for me, because a lot of the time putting on a lip color was actually a bigger, it was like the top priority. So I would do that first. And then if I had another minute at some point, I would put this on, but it like doesn't smudge, right? You can like totally put foundation on after your lipstick, which is so cool. Not any other product is like that. So anyway, those two things would help me to feel human. But then I also in my life have struggled with depression, and that definitely came back a bit during my postpartum, but it's something that's not new to me. And so I don't know if any of you guys have ever gone through that kind of thing, but it makes like everything feel so hard. But if I found that just like this tiny little thing, like if I could just do those two things, it would be a huge step towards being able to feel like I could do other things as well. And so that's kind of the first way that I would say makeup has helped me, is that it's like if you can just, because sometimes the biggest hurdle I find is just getting started and getting started right. And so there's something magical about putting on just a couple of products. It doesn't take long, and then you see yourself and you're like, oh, I look like someone who might actually be able to do the next thing. Like it just sort of gives you that little kick of confidence. So that's the first thing that I would say. Okay, the second way that it's supported my mental health is, so then I started to discover the skincare and stuff. And what I love about our skincare is that it all works together no matter which products you use, because it all forms like a part of a bigger picture, but it's all linked. And so it's not like you have to use this thing and then this thing, you can't skip that and whatever, and you can't use this with this. It's so simple. And so again, like if I'm not feeling like I'm really up to much, all I have to do at the end of the day is wash my face, put on the evening moisturizer, and I'm done. Like at a basic level, I still feel like I've taken care of myself. And that's really what skincare has come to represent for me, is taking care of myself. So it's that little bit of time, and a lot of us are super busy and we're often the last thing on our to-do list, right? So this is it's a way of just taking that little bit of time to care for yourself. And for me, so it can be really simple, but then I also do like when I feel like I need it a bit more, to put a bit more intentional care into myself. I'll do a longer skincare routine, and I'll exfoliate, I'll maybe do a mask, all of these things. And all of those steps, they're like physical reminders of inner work that I'm doing. So, it reminds me to be self-compassionate. It reminds me to be grateful, to think of things to feel gratitude towards. Like I've kind of linked some of those inner things with that routine on the outside. And so it's got benefits for my skin, but it also has benefits for my soul. And it sounds cheesy, but like I am kind of a cheesy person. I definitely have always been into that kind of like self work, but then also like really bad at actually implementing it. And so I also really struggle with routines, and so having it kind of laid out for me and having physical things that help to remind me to do those things really helps me. So yeah, so there's also like sometimes there's other like, so even cheesier. There's other products that I even more like the Illuminator. So this is like eye cream, but it also has pearlizer in it, which gives a, like sort of just a nice glow. So if I am like just having a rough time and I feel like I just need to remind myself that it's okay and that everything's going to be okay, I'll actually put some Illuminator on. And you know, you just can sort of dab it on. And I also really like to put this on in the morning if I wake up and Dax has been, if we haven't slept well, or like also sometimes like, you know, if you don't actually take your mascara off properly and then you wake up and you look like you were punched in the face or something, you know, if you weren't, or like if you had like, anyway, like, or at least you have like sort of underneath there, you can put some of this on, and then it just like right away everything is made good again. And anyway, okay, so that's kind of my second thing, is the link between skincare routines and self-care on the inside is something that's really helped me. My third thing, and this is kind of a fun one. So I really like to color match my mood. And this is something I started doing without even realizing that's what I was doing right from the get-go, as soon as I had more than one color of Lipsense. So I just brought over, like, these are probably like my most worn colors right now. Like these are sort of the ones that I probably like wearing the most these days. And so this is like quite a few. Actually, some of these are glosses. This is actually the gloss I'm wearing right now. I should tell you guys, I'm wearing First Love, which is not a color I usually wear, but I decided to wear it because it's one of our prizes for this party. And then I'm wearing Pink Sand gloss over top of it, which is like my favorite gloss. But anyway, so basically, because you know that with Lipsense, you can, you have like 3 possible layers. Like you always are wearing 3 layers, and you can wear 3 layers of 3 different colors if you want, right? So when you have 3 colors, you have 27 options. If anybody wants to tell me how many options I have with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So how many different combinations can I make with 10 colors of Lipsense? Somebody tell me in the comments, okay? But so basically, am I feeling kind of like blah and tired, but I want to like boost my energy? Well, then maybe I'll wear like 2 layers of raspberry, but because I'm feeling like I am still feeling like a little bit fragile, I'll put a layer of Aussie Rose over top. Or, you know, maybe that day I've got like a meeting that I need to feel like I'm like a serious businesswoman and the people should really trust me. And, you know, then maybe I would wear Sheer Berry Diamond because like I may be like serious, but I also and have sparkle inside me. So I like, yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of fun with this. And it's also the creative element that really is a big thing for me. So honestly, until I discovered SeneGence and like started working as a distributor, I never realized how creative makeup is, which is silly because it's obviously an art form, but I never thought of it that way. I always thought of it as like an obligation that society kind of expects women to wear makeup. And I was like, well, I don't need to follow society. But that's totally not what it is for me. And I think that's not what it is for a lot of us. It's fun. It's playing with color. It's self-expression. And so that was a huge thing for me. And it really does, you know, I remember sometimes during my postpartum depression, like feeling like it was, I couldn't think of anything really to feel excited about. And that's kind of a typical thing in depression. But sometimes I would feel a little bit excited about like, what combination of Lipsense am I going to wear today? And that would like be a little motivation of like a little spark of joy in my life. And so, okay. So yeah, so color matching your mood. And then you can also obviously do that with your shadow. But I think there's something just magical about Lipsense, like because you're wearing the 3 layers and then once you get it on, you don't have to worry about it. It's super fun. Okay, so that's my third one, is color match your mood. my fourth way that that this whole endeavor has helped my mental health is, and I know like I honestly, like when I first heard about this, when I was like first signing up and stuff, I was like rolling my eyes left, right, and center when people would talk about the Sena Sisterhood. I mean, the term like Sena Sisterhood sounds so fake almost. But like, guys, I'm here to tell you a year and a half in, it's real. And like the amount of love and support that I feel from these women who I've never met, and now some of them I have met at our events and stuff. But like, it's real, and it's at times when I've been like really isolated in a lot of other elements of my life, this has been there for me. And it's not just like the support, but it's also, I don't know, there's something so powerful and beautiful about seeing all these women. And there's like such a diverse range of women who are part of our company, like truly from all different, backgrounds and anyway, belief systems and anything. You want to think that there could be differences between people. Those differences exist in our company, but we still all like share this commonality as well. And it's not makeup. Like it's not. If it was, I think that it would actually be a very different feeling. But what we all share is this desire to make our lives better and like to be our best, most fullest version of ourselves. And so we're all supporting each other in that. And that's so powerful. Like I can't even really put it properly into words, but that has been a huge help for me in when I need a boost, I know where to look. And it's also just really inspiring because this kind of leads into my last point, but I'm not going to spoil what my last point is yet. But um, there's just something like the women who I see every day, like working their businesses, even though they have like four kids at home, or, their husband is in hospital, or they're whatever, like all of the different things that we all have going on in our lives. But the thing that we also all share, well, it is what I was already talking about, but seeing what some of these women can do despite all of the odds against them is so inspiring, because they're not like some, Kim Kardashian or whoever the heck you want to think of, but they're real women, real women just like me, doing amazing things. And like, it's really inspiring to be like, well, if they can do that, then I can too. And okay, so that's my fourth thing is the sisterhood has really helped my mental health. And then the last thing is something that has been more subtle and like over a longer time period. And I didn't even realize that this was what had happened for a long time. But when I joined the company, as I said, I was on my mat leave. I was kind of desperate. I was scared. I super loved my baby, and I didn't know how I was going to get I felt like I'd been struggling to get my shit together for a long time and failing. And then I was like, and now I have to get it together, not just for me, but for this little amazing human who needs me to. And it was really scary. And anyway, over time, what I have realized I have learned is to dream so much bigger than I ever thought possible. Because when I joined, like, I really just wanted, it was like very short term. I just needed some way to be able to make some money. And now, like, I have all these amazing plans and dreams for us that, like, I truly believe I'm going to be able to make real. And it's only been recently that I've started to realize just how, like, before, like, almost never in my life have I really thought that I was capable of doing things like that. Like, I always was aiming pretty low. um, even though like I did things like grad school and was working towards a PhD, but I never really saw myself as like gonna be very successful with it. I was always like kind of thinking like, well, maybe I'll be okay. That was kind of like my biggest dream was to be okay. And now I want to be spectacular. Anyway, I'm going off, but like seeing other women doing it has helped, but also just all of the like it's interesting. Like you definitely, in order to, there's a lot of inner work that does have to happen, like self development and mindset are important in this field, and so doing, but like it's now part of my job. I mean, that's part of the other thing, like when I was talking about the self-care element of how this has helped my mental health, even just on a basic level, like it's actually part of my job to take care of myself. That's a huge thing. Like, so, you know, if I skip like putting on makeup to that has the added benefit of making me feel competent and good about myself, but it's also like, well, that's part of my job, so I really should do it. Or, you know, like putting on my nighttime skincare, it's like that's part of my job, so I should do it. But so self-care is part of my job now, which is amazing. And it's also the inner stuff that's part of my job, because to be really successful in this business, you do have to like get through some of your basically, like, I realized that I have this really loud voice telling me that I'm not good enough. So I'm working on it, guys. But I don't know that I ever would have really gotten to where I am, at least not as quickly as I have, if I hadn't decided to take a chance on selling lipstick, which was it sounded like such a ridiculous thing for me to do. I really, really, really get it. If whenever people are like doubting if this is a good idea, I'm like, yeah, I get it, because I was there. But I'm so glad that I did give it this chance, because I am a happier, healthier, better version of myself because I made that decision. So yeah, I mean, and if any of you guys do want to talk more about like specific mental health stuff, like I have quite a lot of experience with a lot of it, so I'm happy to talk to any of you. I didn't want to get too much, like, I certainly wouldn't expect any of you guys to start like telling everybody stuff in the chat, so I didn't ask any questions about that. But what I did ask, those of you who are still watching live, thank you so much for watching, and put in the comments something that's made you smile in the last day or so. I'd love to hear all of your happy smile moments. I guess I should tell you mine. What's one of mine? So I took Dax to get his haircut this afternoon. And when he when they were done, like he was like glued to watching what she'd put on the TV while she was cutting his hair. And then, but when we were done, I was like, okay, like, let's look at your haircut. I think it looks really handsome. And we looked in the mirror, and like his little face was like, oh, like, look at me. It was so sweet. So anyway, that's my happy moment. And yeah, I want to hear yours, but also thanks for watching. And yeah, I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of this party. It's super fun. And yeah, mwah.